Hey everyone, Ethan here from Tech, and I've got a video for you guys today. I want to go ahead and start off first by saying sorry that there haven't been videos very recently. Last week we didn't have any, and I believe we missed a day the week before that, other than the podcast that's been happening, and I do apologize for that. Videos should be more consistent again here soon. I've just been going through some troubles in life, so to speak, and I've been busy and all that, so just figured I would go ahead and let you guys know that things are back to normal. You should start seeing more content again. I've got a review for you guys today though of the Logitech UE Roll 2. This is the second version of it that is practically the same as the first version, so I'm not really going to be going over too many of the differences, but let's jump straight into it. But I would like to first start by saying that this is going to be a little bit of a shorter, a little bit of a quicker video. I didn't have a lot of time today, but Friday's video should be on something a little bit more PC related that I think you guys will be very interested in. But anyway, moving straight on to this, the design is what I'd like to start with on this. And overall, I think it's pretty beautiful. I do think that the color combinations that Logitech has available for this is honestly they're a little bit clashing. I'd like something a little more classy. I mean, you've got like purple and green, and you've got here, this is the volcano one. It's got the kind of black and then also the orange accents, and I don't dislike it, but I'd like something that's maybe all black or a little more subdued than that personally myself. It's all part of a styling thing, and I think you can probably find one that you would like, but definitely do wish that there was at least one just simple option, because that's my preference. Other than that though, I mean, it's pretty good looking. It's definitely a little bit of an eye catcher for a speaker because, I mean, it looks like a flying saucer. It's got a bungee wrap on the back. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. I think overall, I would give it pretty high rating when it comes to the style of it. It definitely feels robust and stuff too. It feels quality. You know, you've got the rubber backing that is a soft touch rubber backing and a little bit grippy, which actually helps the bungee grip. More on that later. But, you know, overall, I think there's not a lot to say about the design of it, but it's definitely pretty good. So hopefully you can find a style you like. Logitech, seriously though, please make a more subdued all black or something. Be a lot better in my eyes. Now, to move on to the build quality portion of this video. Overall, I would say it's really high up there when it comes to build quality, especially for a Bluetooth speaker under $100. Being fully waterproof, it's IP X8 certified, I believe it is, or whatever. So, you know, I mean, it's dust resistant, and it's also fully, you know, when I say waterproof, I mean, obviously it's a level of water resistance, but I mean, you can fully submerge it. It does come with a little floaty that you can strap it to too, so if you're using it on like a lake or something like that, you could float it on the lake, listen to music so it's not underwater, and that way if it flips over or anything on the floaty, it's strapped directly to it, so it's not going to sink to the bottom of the lake. But definitely nice little feature there in my opinion. But I do think that this is something that would hold up really well. I use it in a fairly abusive work environment, strapping it to things, throwing it around a lot, and not really paying attention to taking care of it. And so far, I mean, it's got some scratches and stuff on the back here, but that's kind of normal for soft touch rubber. Other than that though, I mean, it looks practically brand new. And I do think Logitech really has something going here with a extremely versatile speaker, which is that's the whole idea behind this product. It's more versatile than any other Bluetooth speaker I've ever used, simply because of its size, the bungee strap system, the waterproofing. You take it everywhere, you use it everywhere. That's kind of the idea behind this speaker, and I do really like that. Now, to go on to the performance section of this, where I'll go over first sound quality, and then I'm also wanting to go over battery life and the feature set. So, sound quality wise, it's got two tweeters and I believe it's a 2-inch bass speaker or subwoofer, whatever you'd like to call it. And when it comes to the differences between this and the original Roll, there's not much of a difference. So honestly, what I would say is just get the two. It's like the same price. It's harder to find the standard Roll a lot of times too. So just get the two. But overall, it sounds really good, actually. The bass is a little bit lacking, as you'd expect for a speaker of this size and this thickness in particular. There are smaller Bluetooth speakers that are much deeper that actually do have a little bit more depth to the bass, although it's not louder. This thing gets incredibly loud. And the mids and highs are just super crisp. They sound really good. I listen to all kinds of EDM as well as a lot of podcasts and stuff, and I've never been disappointed with this. It's balanced enough and doesn't have too much of a V-shaped sound curve. And so I feel that it's good for all types of music, all types of listening environments, and it definitely gets loud enough that even in most environments where you're wearing earplugs working on industrial stuff, it should be loud enough to go through that and still work, depending on, of course, how loud that stuff is, but I definitely think with earplugs on you could hear it. It definitely can fill up this entire room, and it's a big basement here with sound, and it's pretty audible, pretty clear. Even a couple rooms away you can still hear it decently enough. So most of the time you won't need to run it on max volume, meaning better battery life, so you know that's always nice to see. I'll get to more details on the battery life in just a moment. One thing I will say is I've noticed podcasts in particular seem to be substantially quieter on this. I listen to a lot of podcasts on YouTube, and honestly, even just sitting in my van at work where I do deliveries, having it turned up all the way sometimes still isn't loud enough, which is weird because the music is like ear-piercingly loud. I'm not sure why there's such a huge difference there, and I thought at first it was just the content in particular, but it seems to be voices in particular. When they're not singing, I guess, just doesn't seem to come through as well on this because it's not really built for that. It's built more for music. Nothing that would normally bother a person. You know, I drive a delivery van that is completely unfinished inside, so the road noise is hideous. It's plenty loud even during podcasts, just driving around. It's when I get on the freeway and stuff that it starts to get a little bit harder to hear, but still loud enough. It's just not quite as loud as I'd maybe like it. But overall, I'd rate it great sound quality, actually probably the best sound quality I've heard on a speaker of this price and size, other than the bass being a little bit lacking, but not enough to really be a huge deal. So battery life is the next area, and battery life on this is actually, I'd say, pretty incredible. Logitech has rated the battery life to be 9 hours of playtime. I've exceeded that. I've also gotten under that. It does depend on volume, but they seem to have done the test around like 75%-ish volume with probably rock music or pop or something like that, because their battery life rating is actually quite accurate. It's not like a lot of Bluetooth speakers you'll find they rate them at 12 hours. They last like 4, but of course 12 hours, that's at 10% volume or whatever, listening to, you know, somebody talking in lots of spaces and gaps. Of course, they're trying to maximize what they can throw on the box. I feel Logitech hasn't done that here, and the 9 hours is actually very accurate. It'll get me through a full 8-hour work shift, using it practically all day. So battery life's excellent. I'd say it goes down about 10% an hour, so it's probably closer to 10 hours to be honest, for my listening habits at least. Obviously your mileage may vary. Now, features is the one department that I feel like this is lacking on a little bit. It has some innovational ones, but it has some things that it doesn't have some things that it really should have. So you've got two massive volume buttons on the top here, and if you press them, or on the front, and if you press them simultaneously, a voice will read you your battery life. So that's really nice. That's a cool feature to know your battery life without any LEDs or any, you know, estimating anything. You just press it, tells you what percentage it's at. It's pretty great, 10% increments. I do like that feature. And having giant volume buttons is also extremely nice. I think that a lot of Bluetooth speakers have too small volume buttons to realistically use, especially if you're working in an environment where you're wearing gloves a lot or something. These volume buttons are plenty big for you to use. You don't have to worry about that. Now around the back, you've got your power button and you've got a Bluetooth button. Both of those are pretty self-explanatory, nothing special there. And you've also got this bungee strap system. And so there's actually this little loop hook there, it's a hook for the bungee cord, which is quite stretchy as you can see. I mean, it's got a lot of give to it, but it's tight enough to generally actually create friction on even like posts and stuff that are made of metal or whatever, something that's not particularly grippy. It's able to squeeze it tight enough to hold it just sitting up on like a post somewhere. So that's really nice. As you can see, I just wrapped it around my arm here to show you guys what that's like. So I mean, it's actually kind of hurts because it's a really tight bungee. So I do think the bungee will last a really long time too, because it's probably more than it realistically even needs to be brand new. So as it gets stretched out, it will still function good. So great job there. But as you can see, I mean, it stays on just fine. And of course, I would expect it to with my arm, but it's just a nice mounting mechanism. There's very few things that I've found that it can't mount to. Unlike a lot of Bluetooth speakers, they're bulky, they maybe fit in a cup holder or something like that, but you can't just throw them up somewhere. And you usually want your speaker up somewhere, so it kind of sucks if you're, you know, camping or whatever it may be, and you've got to put your Bluetooth speaker on the table that's lower than everybody. It sounds a little bit weird. I prefer my sound to be coming from above, and so you hang it up on a tree or something. It's perfect for that. And it also can just act as a hanger too. So if you just need to hang it up like that, it doesn't have to be bungeed, of course. So definitely really great idea. I think that's incredibly innovational. It's the most innovational mounting mechanism that I've seen for a Bluetooth speaker myself. Go ahead and leave a comment if there's something better than that. But the one feature that I feel like this is really lacking, and there's actually two features that I feel like it's lacking, but one that it really needs, there's no play pause. You cannot pause your music from the speaker. If For me, it's not a huge deal because I have a smartwatch. I can turn it on and off with my smartwatch, but I really prefer a button on the speaker. I don't want to have to get out my phone. I don't necessarily want to have to use my smartwatch. If I'm driving, if I'm sitting and I'm wearing gloves at work and don't want to touch my phone because I'm dirty or whatever, and I don't care about getting this dirty because it's, you know, $90 versus $800 like my phone, you know, it's like I'd rather be able to just press a button on here to play pause. And it really frustrates me that they didn't add that in. I would think a double tap maybe of the plus or minus, or a hold would probably actually work better, would work, or maybe just a separate button altogether, to be honest, something in the middle here, but it doesn't have it. And I looked through the manual, I looked all over trying to see, I must be doing something wrong was my thought. I was like, every Bluetooth speaker has a play pause button. No, it doesn't. So just something to keep in mind there that's definitely annoying. Not the end of the world. I don't think it's a feature that, you know, you should stray away from this specifically because of that, unless you absolutely need the Bluetooth speaker to have it because your phone's in a locker, you know, next room over or something like that, and that's where you keep your stuff. Also though, there's no forward or backward button, so you're stuck with whatever you're listening to unless you change it on your phone or, like I said, a smartwatch or some other device. I would imagine they could have made it so you hold for like 2 seconds, plus or minus, and that would, instead of adjusting the volume slowly, which I prefer just to press it because it's faster to click the volume up over and over anyway than hold it down and wait for it to go up, I would think that they could do a 2 or 3 second delay to skip a track, go back a track. That's something I'd really like to see on this. So I think Logitech could improve. That's something that could maybe even be improved with like a firmware update. So, I mean, I don't understand exactly why they didn't think of that. Oh yeah, people like to change songs during their, you know, their music. Like, I skip so many songs. I don't understand why this speaker doesn't have that. Again, for me, I just use my watch. It's not the end of the world. So I guess in conclusion, I would say that this is an incredibly good speaker. It's definitely a very good value, and especially if you can find it on sale like I did for about 80 bucks, it is an incredibly good value. I've convinced multiple other people to buy them and they've all been happy with them. Battery life's great, sound is great, albeit a little lacking in the bass department, and build quality is incredible. Just keep in mind, you can't go forward or backward or play pause. That's the only really disadvantage to this compared to any other Bluetooth speaker within this price range or below. And even some that go close to double the price, I feel that this is the best you can get. I just wish Logitech had thought of that, because for some people that's going to be a game breaker. Anyway, though, thank you very much for watching. There should be another video out on Friday. Don't forget to check out our podcast, or Wordcast as we call it, that we do with Daniel every Thursday. That goes on for about 2 hours. It's Thursday Pacific time, 9 p.m. is when we start. Definitely don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of the channel so far. And I should have a channel update video for you guys coming soon as well, because some new things will be happening that should make things a little bit better. Thank you for watching.